Welcome back. The clock is ticking on hundreds of appropriations that will expire at the end of the fiscal year. The shutdown last year and the partial closure at DHS now are complicating the way agencies track those programs. Phillip Swagel is director of the Congressional Budget Office. Phil, welcome. It's great to have you on the program. How is this making things more complicated for agencies as they're tracking what's happening at the end of this fiscal year, at the same time they're trying to get ready for the next budget cycle?
Thanks very much for having me on. And as you said, it's a complicated time for agencies that we have the FY26, the 2026 fiscal year appropriations are not quite finished. As you said, there's still a partial shutdown at DHS, and the FY27 appropriation cycle is just beginning. And that's, well, one of the sure signs of the spring is the president's budget is coming, and then the appropriations process on Capitol Hill starts. We support that we work with the appropriators on the Hill, essentially as they figure out, how much and how to allocate the funds. For agencies, they have to track the process. They have to look at, as the appropriations committees in the House and the Senate take action, and they go subcommittee by subcommittee across the entire federal government. They look at what's been spent. They think about, well, what new programs do they want to authorize or not authorize? And agencies just have to track that and where the appropriators are going. What's
the hardest thing in your experience for agencies to pay attention to? What's going on the Hill, whether something they're working on is going to be continued next year, all of that?
Yeah, that's a natural concern. Thinking about a shutdown, thinking about will there be a continuing resolution at the start of the fiscal year on October 1st. The agencies by now, the financial management people are professionals. They get it. The potential for CRs is just a fact of life. It's more the substantive issues of what will be continued, what will the president propose, what of those proposals will find acceptance and find support among members of Congress. And it's just kind of the swirl of the appropriations process, and that's the hard thing to track, but it's critical for federal government executives.
In a previous assignment, I had very active conversations with a colleague of mine each year when the president's budget proposal would come out. His position was, we should cover this till the ends of the earth. Mine was, it doesn't really matter because it's never going to look like that by the time Congress passes something. That doesn't seem to have changed much over the years. In that context, how much do you think agencies should pay attention when the budget proposal comes out versus once those committees and subcommittees that you just alluded to start to do their work?
Yeah, I do think the president's budget matters, and I know that's kind of the automatic response in the media, certain parts of it. Oh, it's quote dead on arrival, and that's across administrations, and I just don't think that's right. And of course, it might be the case for big proposals that are difficult, but the details matter. The focus of the administration across departments, across areas, domestic, national security, homeland security, that matters because that does affect what the Congress is thinking about. And of course, there's a natural give and take and a back and forth between the executive branch and the Congress. But what the president proposes, what the president focuses on matters, and I would pay attention to it.
Are there markers that you've seen over the years that help folks in the agencies understand trend lines, areas that are plussed up, areas that are not plussed up, and so on, that when that proposal comes out or when the committees start to do their work, people in the agencies can have kind of a guess of what direction things are going?
Yeah, for most agencies, it would be internal, looking to the political appointees, of course, to the secretary or the director of a smaller agency, and then the presidential appointees. And I was a presidential appointee in a previous administration, so I'm familiar with this process. The career people across the executive branch are professionals. The people we deal with from CBO at the agencies are really true career servants, and the expertise in the federal government remains. So I'm and so I was confident that as the administration sets out its proposals, the career staff will do what they've done and carry them out.
The financial management community in government looks to, they work together very closely. It's cross-agency collaboration. What have you seen over time, especially in the job that you're in now, where you're connected to them, but also kind of removed from them?
Yeah.
What have you seen as far as the way that workforce continues to move forward?
Okay, no, that's great, because you're exactly right. We are part of the federal government. We're the legislative branch, not the executive branch, but we still, we have to manage our own budget. We rely, for us, on the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, to to service our payroll. And there's been a lot of change. I mean, 2025, of course, was a volatile year for the financial management community. And from the government perspective, they just kept going as they adapted to changes, funds coming, going, a shutdown. And to me, that's the incredible part of the community, of the financial management community, is the flexibility and the resilience.
What would you like to see happen for the financial management community in general across the government to improve it? Is there a skills area? Is there maybe just a numbers area where you would like to see the workforce move forward?
Okay. The first wish of everyone is for the budget process to work smoothly.
Yes.
And, for the appropriations to be done in time for the start of the fiscal year. And it's a wish. Wishes don't always come true. And of course, that's out of the hands of all the financial management professionals. And so in some sense, I think the community is doing well, is just adapting to what comes at it. And I don't have a suggestion or a wish other than to just to stay flexible and keep executing, and that's really in support of the U.S. people, of the American people.
We have just about a minute left. What do you see as the biggest challenge for the agencies in their financial management work as you communicate with them and as you talk to them about what they're up against?
Yeah.
What do you see them maybe struggling with or working to improve?
Okay, so we track the spending across the federal government, and we provide information to policymakers, to Congress, on that spending. And we see that the community has the same challenges that we face. We track it, and they have to execute it, especially when there's a continuing resolution, and the appropriation cycle goes into the fiscal year, let alone a shutdown. It's just sometimes hard to keep in mind the near-term challenges of paying people and executing on the budgets with the longer-term priorities, because ultimately that's what every agency wants, is to execute on the priorities of the administration. And it's doing both, getting the near term, getting the checks written, getting people paid, and making sure the resources are there for the longer term priorities. That's the challenge.
Phil, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much.
You can read more about everything Phil and I talked about on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com. FedGov Today continues in just a moment.